Welcome to the FBAA's Top Broker Podcast for mortgage brokers looking to take their business to the next level with your host, Joshua Vecchio.
And today we have Jayden Vecchio, Director at Red & Co. And based in Brisbane, he was the FBAA's Commercial Broker of the Year in 2016. In this episode, we're going to look at the habits of success. We're discussing everything from mentorship to managing the mind. With these tips, getting ahead will be so easy for you, and I know you're going to be pumped. So let's get into it. And we're really excited to have Jayden on the show today. Jayden, welcome.
Thanks so much, Josh. Great to be here.
So why don't we start off with a quick snapshot of you and your business?
Yeah, so my name's Jayden Vecchio. My business is Red & Co. So I'm the director of that. We started the business 4 years ago. So it's probably a bit different from most brokerages now. So I started purely as a finance broking business, and we've expanded out to include real estate and property advisory services. And we, work with customers from first home buyers all the way to people developing big towers here in Brisbane. So it's been a really great journey.
That's awesome. And I'm sure everyone's wanting to know how you got into the industry.
Yeah, man. So I've, like I said, I've been a broker for 4 years now. Before that, I was in the banking system for maybe 4 or 5 years, roughly. But basically, I started straight out of university. So I studied business and IT at QUT here in Brisbane. And in my last year of uni, like a lot of students, I was sort of nervously thinking, what do I want to do? I knew I liked banking. I liked, the idea of property, and my family being Italian, we're really into that. So I knew I wanted to get into that, and I tried to get in a couple of graduate programs and didn't really do too well on that because I just did the old send out my resume to 1,000 people and hope I got a job. Didn't work, but I joined, lucky for me, QUT does a mentoring scheme in the last year. So in March of the last year, I joined the mentoring scheme and got partnered up with someone in the industry, Tim Brown, who at the time was working at Macquarie Bank. And then he became my mentor, which was great because it actually enabled me as a student at the time to bounce, my resume off someone who's actually in the industry, talk to him about what it's going to be like post-uni and not sleeping in and going to the pub, till late nights and actually sort of working and doing that. And then through that and getting to know Tim a bit better, I was fortunate enough that at the end of my last year at uni, he offered me a job at Macquarie Bank, and that's how I got into the mortgages industry and sort of went from there.
The rest is history. What has a mentor done for you? Because I know Tim's been invaluable, but you've had other mentors in your career. I mean, tell us about these mentors. What have they done for you?
Yeah, so for me, my career started off the back of a mentor, and I've actually adapted that approach from that point of getting in the industry up until today. So even today in my business, we do a monthly advisory board meeting where we catch up with two directors of, one's a director of a retail business, quite a large one that's got a national presence, and the other advisor is someone that is a partner at a large law firm, and they're semi-mentors for our business. So they help us. It's an unpaid thing that they do for us, and it just means it's someone that's actually made the mistakes that we potentially could be making. We can bounce ideas, marketing ideas, staffing. You've got questions on that. I'm not going to say issues because staff are, the most important part of my business. And I'm sure it is the same for a lot of brokers. But it's just amazing that experience that someone that's, got a bit of a wiser head or might have been in the same situation, had the same issues and the same frustrations that I've had in my business. That advisory board and those mentors has just been completely invaluable. And I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be the person I am today without those guys.
With a mentor, do you think that's fast-tracked your progress, or would you have the same trajectory without it?
No, I think definitely, because it's easy. As a broker, I remember my first month or two, having left the bank, having left a big, safe environment, to then just be me sitting at home with my laptop and my business cards going like, shit, what do I do now? And I had my 90-day plan, and I had all my other bits and pieces of, I knew what I had to do. But it's always quite daunting knowing what's the best thing to do next, or am I making the right decision, or am I doing that? So effectively within 4 weeks of becoming a broker, I looked at NPA, one of the magazines, and hit up some of the guys that were in the top 10 brokers of that year. And I just sent emails or sent a phone call and actually got a coffee with one of the guys that was in the top 10. And just some of the tips where they can say, well, I could have wasted a lot of time just hitting up, trying to do a website or spending money on advertising. And he just said basically, well, you just got to go out there and press some palms and and just make yourself known. So yeah, I think without having mentors along the way, and in that case, it was my first mentor as a broker, having Tim that originally got me in the industry, and even having the advisory board now, I definitely couldn't have done what I've done. And they've definitely taught me and helped me get to where I'm going a lot quicker, having learnt from their mistakes ultimately, and helping me potentially avoid making a lot more on my own.
It's almost like it's been said that having a mentor is like chopping a tree down with either the mentor with the sharp axe and no mentor with a blunt axe. So it's so vital to have one. Jayden, I know you're big into self-development. How much do you put a set amount away each year towards self-development?
Man, so yeah, like I think it's like anything. If you don't think about it, you won't do it. So with self-development, it's easy to get to the end of the year and think, well, I've not read a single book this year. I've not listened to a single audio tape or any seminars. So yeah, I spend roughly 2 to 3% of my income on self-development. And that can be in various forms. It can be in seminars, it can be on courses, it can be, attending different things. And it doesn't necessarily just need to be in mortgage broking industry. It can be on, if my pain point at the moment might be managing staff, it might be learning a bit more about that and how I can do that better. Or it could be in the early stage of my business is just learning how to be a better broker and seeing what resources there were and what people were out there that could help and how I could leverage that early.
And I know initially it's so easy to get access to free information. Free information is everywhere. But I know you were saying that oftentimes you got this information. What would you do with it?
Yeah, so when I started, like you can Google how to be a great mortgage broker, and like obviously it's the top broker site. But there's just so much info out there. I was reading it, but I wasn't necessarily digesting it, and I definitely wasn't implementing it. So for me, in that first year, having a mentor involved in my business gave me someone to hold me to account and to make sure that I was actually each week, each day, almost each week and each month, moving forwards and progressing towards my goal. So I think that's, the power of coaching is important. And even subsequent to that, I've had different coaches from different industries, might be from, real estate industries to marketing to HR. It helps really fast track what you're doing, because as much as you can read and try and do it yourself, there's only so many hours in a day, and what might take you, a couple of hours to trawl through the internet and find the right article in a phone call or in, a half-hour coaching session or mentoring session, you could get weeks of value out of. So I think, you really can't discount the power of, personal development and actually investing in yourself.
And investing in yourself is the most important investment you can do. If you're not investing in yourself, you're really selling yourself short. So Jayden, you're a big believer in health. Talk me through this. Yeah,
so it's kind of like the saying, healthy body, healthy mind. And I've found that, again, in the beginning, I didn't feel that bad having worked some huge hours, some long days, weekends. It didn't matter. I was sort of had my mindset on my goals and where I wanted to get to, which I think is okay at a place and a time. But now as my career has progressed a bit, and I've got a family and married now, it's, I can't really justify working 14-hour days and not sleeping on the weekends and that sort of stuff. So with that, I've been able to get a bit more balance, and even with my day, I wake up every day at 5 a.m. and exercise, because if I don't, I just can't concentrate. I can't think. And then if, you start your day poorly, then it's just a shamble. I reckon I get half as much done. Just I'm foggy. I'm not sharp. I'm not in a good headspace. The days I exercise just always fire in all cylinders and feel amazing.
And it's always about, so when you work, I know you're big on having a structure. A lot of brokers, I know for a fact that it's easy to get off course. So you've got your health, you're sharp as a tack. What about this keeping on task business?
Man, so every day I'm very diligent on setting myself up for success. So it actually starts the day before. So before I go home from work, I set a list and I set tasks or deliverables for the next day. So it's usually 4 or 5 things that I know that as soon as I come in the next morning, I need to start working on. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, once I've finished my exercise, I'll go through basically what I'm thankful for that day and really set my mind space and my headspace into the right place to be, because you know what it's like. You can hit the office in the morning, you get one bad phone call at 8:30. You know, in the early days, this was certainly the case that I get, you know, a deal decline at 8:30, and then I'd just be off the rails for the rest of the day and just feeling crap and, you know, just being irritable and being a bit moody. Whereas now, because I already have set my direction, I already know what I need to get through. I know what I'm thankful for. I hit the office in the right headspace, and you know, things will come up and there'll be curveballs that come out through your day. But I think if you've already set the foundations, the fundamentals right, then it really helps you stay on course.
And I know you say that you do focus on what you're grateful for. I mean, in our industry, it's very easy to get off track. It's very easy to feel bad about anything that's going on wrong. How do you do that? You've got a gratitude book, I hear.
Yeah, so I'd happily share. I've got a basic template that I've got that I fill out every day. It's just 3 points that I'm grateful for. It can be personally, it can be professionally, it can be anything else. But it really grounds you for the day. And having filled that out every morning, at least when stuff goes off track, which it does happen, and it just does. I think Tom Panos says it in real estate, and it's definitely true in broking. You can go from, you know, the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in 24 hours. And it's so true in our industry. You can go for approvals to get a settlements to getting deals declined and customers not returning your call. So setting those foundations, to send those gratitude points in the morning, just really help set me up in the right mind space for the rest of the day.
So Jayden, you've started off the day well with exercise. You've then gone and managed your mindset. How do you finish it?
Yeah, so basically similar to how I start the day. So again, like I said, I'll wrap up, write down the stuff that I need to do tomorrow. Because again, when in the beginning as a broker, it's so easy to just take the problems home, and then I'd find I was getting into arguments with my wife and just not being a nice person to be around because I was very stressing and thinking about the stuff I had to do tomorrow. Whereas one effective way and one easy way that I found just to really do that and clear my mind is just write down the stuff that I need to do tomorrow. And it's amazing. Once you write it down, it just takes it out of your mind and you don't think about it, and you're not going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, I didn't put those supporting docs on the file or didn't follow up that customer. It's amazing. It sounds really simple, but it's something you have to do. I'll also write down sort of 3 points of gratitude, again, like stuff that I was happy about that happened during the day, and a good way to wrap up the day, and just review my goals. Because one thing I'm really big on is having, obviously, you know, my big 1, 3, and 5 year goals, but it's also having that broken down to what my 90-day goals look like, my goals for the month, and the goals for the week. Because if you're not moving forward, then you're moving backwards. So it's one way I really keep on track.
That's awesome, Jayden. Thank you very much for sharing those insights.
No worries.
So my 3 big takeaways from this episode was 1, mentorship. A mentor will give you direction by allowing you to bounce ideas off them. Sometimes it's easy to think that we need a website or we need some marketing trinket, when in actual fact, that may not be the right thing we should be doing. A mentor will guide you, and a great mentor will save years and even decades off your journey. The second biggest takeaway for me was self-development. If you're not investing in yourself, you're missing out on a huge opportunity, whether it's seminars, audiobooks, or even podcasts. And the third one was structuring. Essentially finishing the day before it starts. So the day before, writing down a list of everything you need to do, having a priority list so that you only look at the highest priorities, and also planning the whole day so that if you do veer off course, it's easy to identify and get back on course. I'd love to hear your big 3 takeaways, and you can share it on our private Facebook group. Just search it, topbroker.com.au, and you'll be able to join. Until next time, we'll catch you next week.